Thanks for joining me today. I've got the new Henry Golden Boy chambered in 30-30. It is the HO24 model. I ordered some new scope mounts here by Tally. I actually ordered them off of Henry's website, and they will fit the H009, the H10, the H14, and the HO24 models. These mounts, you can turn them any direction you want. You see I've got them both going the same here. I did that so that my new scope, which is a Hawke Vantage scope, the 3x9x40 millimeter, if I was to turn these around, the front portion of my scope was going to touch with my iron sight right there, the rear sight. So I've got them going that way. I've still got a great field of view looking through it. This scope by Hawke was $140 range, bit of shipping to get it here as well. I'm going to be using Federal ammo. I'm going to show you a quick way to sight your gun in for up to 100 yards. These are reloads at 150 grain. I'm going to first shoot at 30 yards. Then we're going to move on out to 100. I've shot this gun once. The scope was not on it then. I took down a white-tailed doe in the holiday antlerless season here in Oklahoma. The reason I'm putting the scope on is I'd like to reach out a little bit farther than my bow stand range, where I've been using these lever actions the last few years. I've been hunting from a bow stand, but you never know, you might need to go 100 yards or more, and I'm going to be prepared come this fall. All it takes, of course, is an Allen wrench. Take these on and off. I'm going to mount it just a little bit extra forward so that my front part of the scope is not touching the rear side. Get it strapped down and do some quick shooting. I'm not going to tighten these up until I look through it, make sure the scope is on there with the crosshairs straight up and down like I need them to be. With this particular model, you can load through the side, or you can load through the tube right out here. It'll hold 10 in the tube and 1 in the chamber. I like to shoot 3 at a time, develop a pattern. Now my first target is set up out there at 30 yards. I'm going to make an adjustment to get it right where I'm dialed in on the center of my target before I squeeze off the trigger on the first round. It looks like I'm several inches high on that first shot. Several inches high and a little bit to the left. Alright, I'm just about the same height and a little bit closer to the line of sight up and down. I'm going to move my scope down because I don't even want it to be above the crosshairs at 30 yards. I want it to be below my center of my target at 30 yards. My left and right will be easy to adjust, but I'm going to have to move it down a bunch. I moved it down enough that I should have moved it down at least 4 inches. I'm closer to 5 inches high right now and a little bit to the left. And I also moved it back to the right where I should be just about right on the line. I expect I'm going to be an inch or so high and about right on the line of left and right. Actually, I'm a ½ inch to an inch below dead center, and that's taken 3 shots so far. The only thing that I can tell you that I don't like so far, your thumb right here, there's not a whole lot of room in between the hammer and the scope. I maybe could have got scope mounts that would have got my scope up just a little bit higher, but I'm going to go make sure that I'm just below the bullseye, and as long as I'm not above it, I'm going to be really close at 100 yards. I've got some iron set up at 100 yards, and we'll try that too. I'm going to shoot 2 more through it before I move on out to 100. And I am about a 1/2 inch low, dead center left and right, which I drew a little diagram earlier. The barrel and the scope have this much difference, you know, about 1 inch, 1.5 inches. So if I'm shooting higher, and you can see on my drawing, it's going to put that bullet going well over the target the farther you go until you reach the spot where you're going to come down. So if I'm on the incline from 0 to 30 yards, I don't want to be higher than 30. In between that inch and 1/2 inch range below, that's where I was looking for. I'm going to fire off 2 more rounds here at 30. A little bit high and left right there. I might have pulled on that first shot of that last 2, because the next to last one is right below the center of the target where I was wanting to be. Now my first 2 shots were up here, so I knew that I needed to move down. My next shot was here, right here, and then I just pierced the top of that one. This is the shot that I likely pulled just a little bit. I'm going to step on back out to 100 yards, see if I can hit still. This is my first time to shoot with this rest. And actually it's pretty handy. I'm always trying to put some bags underneath the front. But having this dial on here, pretty comfortable place. My son got me this for Christmas. Looked them up online, they're about 50 bucks or so. I'm gonna zoom on in and use my 9 power out there at that 100-yard range. And I know I'm about a 1/2 inch low at 30, going center of the target. I just put new chains on that today. First shot, it'll quit moving, you'll be able to see I hit it right in the center of that biggest target down on the bottom. So I've got 1 more round in here. I think that's my 6th shot of the day. That is pretty close to getting about as accurate as I can be in 6 shots with a 30-30 at 100 yards. A bunch of people will grab a new gun, they'll bore sight it, they'll try and take it hunting. I'm trying to show you some easy ways to get one-sighted in. Now I'm going for the top target, which is about a 4-inch piece of steel. That's going to be good enough for me. Now I can see definitely right there in the center of the small target. The bigger target I thought was in the center as I was out there, but you can see it's a little bit to the right of center. And it broke out right there. Right there is my bolt. That's crazy. Just sheared the head off of that bolt where it should have been going. The bolt was like this, but it sheared the top of it off as I impact. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Once again, this is the HO24 model. Got some outstanding engraving on the forearm and on the stock. You can load 10 through the tube, 1 in the chamber. I'm shooting 150 grain. I tell you what, shooting these lever actions makes you feel a little bit more like you should have been born 100 to 200 years ago or so. But the 30-30 has taken down a lot of wildlife throughout the United States. Probably been used on more big game than any other caliber of gun. Have you some fun, whatever caliber you choose. Always wear your ear safety. Make sure you've got a good backstop behind you where you're shooting. I've got a few other new guns that I haven't sighted in yet. I'll be doing that in the weeks to come. Hope you hit that subscribe button.